Welcome to TikTok Boom podcast. My name is Natalie Potts and I'm invested in helping people love what they do in life and business to achieve greatness. Each week I'll be bringing you an inspiring personal message to help you in taking action. So thank you for spending your time with me today. Now let's go. Early this year, I left my corporate job, a job I had been in since the age of 16 with one of the top 4 food retailers. I did the whole uni thing. I got my drama degree and that was with management too. But the promise of good money and career progression imminently meant that any idea of drama school and years of further studying and volunteering quickly faded. It was about 3 months as well, and I became a manager. So I kind of did really well very quickly. And by the age of 24, I was a deputy store manager. And I used to love my job. Like literally, I was buzzing for it. I never ever actually had a blue Monday. It just didn't exist in my world because schedules never work like that anyway. But I never really looked at it like work. I absolutely loved what I did and who I got to be with. And I loved the fact that I had so much responsibility at a young age. I got to lead people. It was challenging, but there was fun with it. I always said that when it's great, it's freaking amazing. But when it's shit, it's a tough gig. But who can get through 18 retail Christmases if they don't find some of it fun? And after 14 years in the London area with stores, I decided I needed to move out and to change things up because London can be relentless. There's like no give sometimes. And I'd loved that for that period of time, but it just felt that I needed those greener pastures. And a different role came up. And it was a role at the time that was debated by my regional team, saying that if I go and do the role, I will be putting my career back. I'll be going backwards in my career, and that something could come up with them, although they couldn't share anything. And it just felt right to do. I said, no, I'm going for this. So I know it was controversial, but actually I thought, like Sheryl Sandberg says, that you got to be a bit jungle gym and not linear. So I thought, let's do a bit of that. If it's a sidestep, cool. But, I know what I want. I've got a set vision of where I'm going to be with this role and what I want career progression to look like over there too. And part of the appeal was that I was going to be one of the only females on that region. And I thought, I've definitely got some impact here and I can definitely make a difference. So, I had a clear agenda of what I wanted to achieve. It was in 2021 that I decided to go for a more senior role, and I had I think it was a 2-hour interview for this, and I got it. I got what you call the promotion, but this went into, again, what you would call within a business a probationary period, and it was intense. I said going for the role was a what if, because I was told by people that, it was written for me and I got it before I'd even applied and all of that. And that was great to hear. It was lovely to be complimented in that way and for people to see that in me as well. And what started with really good intentions became the hardest 4 months of my life. And I gave everything. Should I reverse engineer this? So basically, I did 4 months of probation period and I failed. I gave it absolutely everything and it didn't pay off. So I was working solid. I was never turning my phone off. I would work and be there for people. Obviously operations aren't just 8 hours a day. These were like 24-hour operations in these types of industries and businesses. And part of that was what I loved too, because there was always that flexibility. I could kind of have like that freedom of doing what I wanted when I wanted within certain boundaries, of course. But this was just probably too much for me. And I want to be really clear here. The intention here isn't to make anyone or any businesses seem that they're all bad, or that it's um I'm very conscious of that. We can, when we say things about people, that we never judge, because actually I sometimes think that a lot of people who do judge, it's their lack of security and self-esteem within them. They feel they have to judge others to validate what they feel and their faults and everything. So I'm very conscious. I don't want it to look like that, but I am also mindful that there's businesses that are preaching stuff that are just not doing. And I do want to share how I've had to really get through a really tough time since, in building up my self-esteem, my self-identity, and my sense of purpose and confidence to say that shouldn't have happened. And I was freaking good at the role. I could, I did deliver. I would have delivered. And the politics of corporates is bullshit. And that people do have a voice, and they need to use their voice in order to help others, whether that's future generations coming through, people like, I look at my niece and everything, because the irony is, the higher you go in corporate, the lonelier it gets. I know they say that. I remember years ago, one of my line managers said that do all your personal development stuff now, get your mentors and your coaches from this early on, because it gets lonely. And I knew that would be the case. And it's like, just because it's said doesn't mean that you can avoid it. Sometimes you have to know that you're going to go into that, but how do you almost manage that? And it's a tough challenge. There's no rule, there's no book on this stuff. There's nothing set in stone that you have to do this, and what works for some will work for others. But it certainly was challenging. And I had gone through 4 months of practically working 6 days a week. I had a week off, but I didn't really obviously switch off. I just don't switch off very well at all. And it was, I had this solid plan, right, for 4 months. I was meeting with my line manager bi-weekly, having commercial and operational meetings and reviews, looking at my performance, checking my goals, getting my targets and objectives clear all the time, and where I was sitting on those and how I was achieving them. That strategy was really clear right from the start. I had a senior leader who was my mentor, and I had calls of her every 2 weeks, looking at my development, getting my showcase presentation ready and for the director's presentation. And I had two further regional managers endorse me in terms of my performance and what I achieved previously, I guess. So I was feeling that I was shaping the story of Natalie and my journey over this 4 months, you see, all for this one presentation. And I delivered. I got my metrics. I'd done what I was set out to do. My line manager supported me. He says, "You got this." I had all of my peers saying that you'll be phenomenal, you're going to walk this. And I was nervous. I was really freaking nervous. And I don't get nerves ever. That's what the drama degree brings, that confidence in me, that nothing, and that's not a good thing, actually. I've realized that since, that nothing really makes me nervous. And I've done a lot of things since that have, and it's been good to feel that, that butterfly feeling, that making sure you're trying to perfect everything, be on point. And part of that was a reflection since I've left, that you need that in your life. You need to have those moments where it feels a bit good stress as well. So I didn't really feel that, but I did with this, but it was a different feeling. It was just like I was being judged, comes to mind. But like every single action I took and everything that would come out of my mouth was being picked at and noted. And I'm sure if you've followed some of my things, you would know that I'm absolutely invested in personal development. I always have been. I've just absolutely loved it. And that was always an area that I brought to the table that was very, very different. And I want to bring this idea of being at the table, because Sheryl Sandberg talks a lot about it in her book, Lean In, about women having a voice, and being credible, having their personality and their character and really going for it in business and that being seen by men. And then how it can be seen by other women as well. You know, the times I got feedback that I was very blunt and direct, and I know I'm a direct communicator, absolutely key in that, and that's actually a strength. But it was always positioned that you need to tone it down, or that it was almost put that if it was a man being told he was, you know, it was something that I was, where it was like a negative, like, if you know, Natalie, you need to rein it in a bit because you know your voice is being heard, but some people don't want to hear it. Don't, you know, like basically one of the values is say it in a room, but we don't hear it in a room. Okay, if a man said it in a room, it'd be taken as like, yeah, that's a great point, thanks. But for a female, it wasn't. And I know a lot of females will be nodding at that, going, "Yeah, I understand that." It's something I talk to a lot of my female friends about, and people that are in very good roles in business, and incredibly so. But they talk about the fact that you can be seen as very cold as a woman, or too emotional. The in between doesn't really exist. I don't know what in between is. So it's interesting dynamic, and these are the businesses that are still saying that they've got very strong values, visions, to treat people well and everything. And I just don't think that they all do. And I also know, because I was talking with people since who are senior leaders in other industries, just saying, why is it that the higher you go, the less the values are lived and breathed, yet they're pushed down the whole time? And I struggled with that. It became this internal conflict that I had going on. So look, it got to the point where it was going to be my showcase date, and I was ready. I'd done everything, like I'd given everything I could have, and there was not one little bit of me that I could have given 1% more. And I remember having to sign off. It was a well, actually, part of the sign off was a 2-hour walk of my store with another regional manager, followed by a 90-minute personal development talk as well. And that was where I was also kind of prepped for what the showcase would look like, and told that this isn't a chit chat. And this lady was, to be fair, she was very supportive and helpful in getting me prepared, and said I need to really practice. But it was that, okay, this is going to be different. This isn't like I thought it would be. There was definitely, and sometimes I can wing it on some things. There was no winging this, okay? So don't get me wrong. I practice and practice and practice and practice. I think I did it to 4 different people. I also had the graveyard shifts. That always helps to get the last part of the day for a showcase, right? And I binged Dale Carnegie's public speaking audible. I'd practiced breathing techniques on YouTube. I was like, there is not anything else I can do now. I'm there. So I did it. I did the showcase, and it was okay. I didn't feel elated. I felt drained. You know, when you think you feel like you've prepared something so much and you do it and you feel a good feeling. I didn't feel great, but I remember I given everything, and it was kind of like I could have cried or laughed at that moment with relief. It was just a surreal feeling. So I had to wait 24 hours for feedback, and I remember going into town that day with a friend. I hadn't been out or seen any friends for months, and that was a part of the issue. And I just felt sick, and I got on a phone to my line manager. I think it was like 5:56, because I knew he'd been on a call to the director, and he was like, "Hi, Natalie, how are you?" And I was like, "Yep, good, cool. How'd I get on?" And there was just this silence, and then he just said, and I'm sitting actually now where I was sitting with the call, and he just said, he's like, "You didn't get through." And I just, again, like, there was just this silence for what felt like 10 minutes, was probably 20 seconds. And I was like, all right, okay. And it's really hard now to talk about, to be fair. It's bloody hard, because I gave everything to that. And I just said, okay. And he goes, look, we need to get a plan in place. You need to come and we'll go and work out what you need to do. We want to get you back on track. You get a further assessment, in 3 months' time. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to work for me. And it was, again, there was that kind of silence. It was like, right, okay, look, you need to come see me tomorrow. We need to go through this. I need to spend a bit of time with you. And I said, yeah, fine, cool. And I was just distraught. I was absolutely distraught, and I didn't know what to do. And I phoned some people, and there was a lot of anger, and there was a lot of loads of people was really wanting me to do well, and I was always the baby as such, talking about the big boys club, but I was the only female in my leadership team. There was 20 men and me at that store manager level, and they all said things like, you got this and that. And I just had to put in one of our messages in a group. I just said, look, guys, I really appreciate your messages that you've been sending all the week. I didn't get through, and I pitched in some bullshitty value stuff in terms of I can always make stuff look quite pretty sometimes. I was told once years ago and this is an example years ago. I had my previous regional manager who I absolutely loved before he retired, and then the talent lead, who was a woman in HR, and I didn't always click with HR, not easily, because it's very different to retail operations in our ways of thinking and strategically working. And I was told by him that I do really well in the meetings. He said, look, you cut the room like a knife. He goes, what your impact, what you deliver is spot on. It's credible. It's, you've got authority, purpose. Just keep doing it. And then the talent lead woman, right? She just says, yeah, you don't speak up enough. I was like, what? I was like, you two talk. So I was like, right, okay. And I remember going back to my boss and just saying, look, you said this, where do I sit? And he said, yeah, look, probably you need to, for her, just do a bit more. And I was like, right, okay. We got the message, we got the vibe going on and the relationship here between us, but okay. And that was part of the stuff that I didn't really keep with HR, like you got to do this, you got to do that. And I was like, you've got no idea what it's like to actually do what we do. Yeah. So I told them that I just need some time, guys. So thanks for your messages, but I'll get back to you soon. Anyway, went to see my boss the next day. It was literally like someone had died in my life. That's how I felt, honestly. I was numb. I was cold. I rang people. This is important, actually. I spoke to a few people, but they were key custodians and sponsors of me, but also people that rightly challenged me on some things. One played devil's advocate of me quite a bit, and others were like, no, I'd do this, and I know you well, you need, and if it was my daughter. So and then after a while it becomes too much, doesn't it? You get bored of talking about it and you just need that. I need some time. So it was a tough 2 days, and I was setting to work because I had some time off that week after. But I went to see my boss, and I was very cool. I was quite calm and collected. And I just said, yeah, I'm done. He was like, okay. I said, I'm stepping down. I said, I don't want this. I said, I shouldn't be sitting here with you. I said, it's a disgrace. I said, I've delivered every metric you've asked me to do, and that's what I'm paid to do, is deliver. And I got told my operations were phenomenal. She was, the sign off from my store, my colleagues, and the feedback from my managers was something that she hadn't seen in a long time. How people responded to me and how engaged I was with them, the customer feedback. And I was like, I don't know what else I could have done. I said, I'll be honest, right? This just stinks, actually. And I'm not having it. I said, I've got another 30 years of this, and this isn't fun. I know business is tough. I know we've been through a pandemic. I know you say this year Christmas is going to be harder than last year, every year, and same at Easter. But there's nothing in it for me, actually. And I feel on my own. I wasn't supported in terms of a whole team, and I still delivered. So I said, this isn't right. I said, to be honest, these directors have made you lot look like idiots. You've endorsed me. You've put your name to my name, and this is like there's something else going on. There's a hidden agenda. You know, there's other way people have been managed potentially, and I'm part of that. Somebody even said to me that it might have been deliberate in that I would then get through the second time and it would be on her as a director, and she'd kind of be my mentor or help me and all of that. And I just thought, yeah, I'm not up for that. I don't play the game. I never have played the game very well. I've always said what I thought, and that worked for me for many years. It did me well, and then I started to notice that it wasn't doing that. And like I shared, say it in the room, they didn't want to hear it in all the rooms. And it's a shame, because these are people that are going to bring the change and make the difference and make these businesses sustainable in the future. You know, we talk about diversity and inclusion. I was the only female sitting around a table of 20 men in 2021. And we talk about being diverse and inclusive. I remember once, actually, we had a manager meeting, and this is where my directors come in, and we were talking about talent. So previously with, experience wise, I'm very rounded, like, as well with personal development. I'd led diversity and inclusion for the region as a strategy. I'd led mentoring for female future leaders. I'd led mentoring circles. I'd been a regional talent lead in this city when I was up doing stores up there in London. And then I'd also been talent lead for areas out in Sussex. And yeah, I'd always been very rounded because I loved it. I just get bored in one place. I like to have variety and I like to learn. And I like to be different. I like to say something that if I was like that, if I was going to an interview, which is why I got the role, is because I was very diverse in my skill set and my knowledge. And that's really important. So I always say to people, what's your competitive edge? And I said, I'd always share the leaders that I'd have, line manage, and just share with them and say, look, there's X number of you on this region. What makes you different? And any that I'd mentor as well, I would say, I don't know about you. You say you want to progress, you want my job essentially, which is great. Love that attitude, and that, that kind of that vision. But I don't know you. What else do you do? So I've always been quite challenging to people in that way for their own growth and development, because it's important, and it's important to know where what you stand and what your brand is within that role. Especially as a leader, it's really key. A leader's about setting the tone. They create a culture. I could always walk into places and I would know how a store was run. I'd just feel it. And I could look at things and say what was right or wrong. I was that in tune with it. That's what I loved about it. That, they say retail is detail, and it's true. I love the detail in things. I love strategy. I love numbers. I did love implementing until you didn't get a say in it. There's a difference in implementing and whether you have a voice in that too. And that was part of the challenge that I didn't like at the end. But coming back to this, I think that, having that conversation, I then had to go away again and think about it for a period of time. And I said, no, look, definitely made my mind up. I'm stepping down, so I'm going to go on my holiday, come back, and I want to go elsewhere. And then I did that. But I had to go back and share it with everybody that I didn't get through and what I was doing. And it was just too much. It was too much. And there's parts of it now I don't need to go back into and think about. I don't want to, and I don't need to, like I said. So it is just what it is. And I remember at the time, Mum always says to me, write a list for and against, and I always think, no. But I did it for this. I don't know why, I just did. I woke up at 3 one morning because I wasn't sleeping well at the time. And I wrote a list of all of the fors and all of the against. And I wrote down 3 things for, which was the money, the car, and kind of just the security in life, paying the bills. I'd never had to think about that. Like, money just came in and went out. It just, that's what I was used to. I know it's not always right to say that, but it's just true. It's where I was at. So I didn't know any different, but I didn't know what else to do for this. And I didn't actually ask for the feedback. I got told, "Oh, we'll give you the feedback." And I said, "Yeah, I don't want it because I don't respect them. So it's irrelevant." I said, "I think it's all subjective." But I knew probably deep down that I needed to, because I guess I was just more focused on the fact that the pieces just don't fit here anymore. Uh, I had no interest in the feedback. So I spent some time and I thought about it, and I went for the feedback. And I said it was actually not with the directors. They wouldn't give me the feedback directly, which I thought was just, one, I think it's rude. Two, I think it's disrespectful, not even like we're humans. I just, and like, why wouldn't you just do that? I just didn't get that. And I was like, that tells me everything in itself, actually. It's the power of silence, isn't it? Silence is golden, right? That's what I thought with that one. But I went to my mentor and I said, what if I don't get through? Well, what if I do this again and go for it? Even though this was the what if for me. And I say if it was what if for me, because many years ago I said I don't want any further progression. I was done. I didn't want to. And then this opportunity came up and it just, I guess people told me I should go for it and I get it. And then I did. And then, that's what happens. And yeah, I think it was safe to, I guess, felt secure to do that. And I said, what if I don't get through? She said, well, only you can answer that. And I said, no, you just answered that for me. Thanks. And that was it. I was like, that's it. I'm done. Because it was all too political. And I think the only thing I did here was that I probably didn't articulate the answer to the questions. So I said, great, cool. What were the questions? Oh, I don't know. I wasn't in there. Right. So that's going to help me in the next time, or to know what questions I should have been working on in terms of what my areas of growth are and development coming from this. And what else? Oh, don't know who NASI stands for as the leader. Right. But I had a sign up in my store where I was seen as a leader with my colleagues and my customers. What else you want? So it was subjective. And I said, I can't work for someone like that. That's not leadership to me. That's not inspiring or empowering for females. I said it's like I said at the beginning, I think it's an absolute disgrace that we have people in the business that think that's okay. And I think that people treat people like that. And I said people leave because of people like that. And I was challenged, no, they don't. And I was like, no, they do. You're wrong. People leave because of the way they're treated and people. And that's not right. And I don't want to stand for that here. I don't need to. I said, I don't need this. I don't have commitments and responsibilities. The only thing that makes me scared as hell is that I've got to pay a mortgage. But I know through the person I am, everything I've given, that I am credible, and I have had to focus, like I shared, on that self-esteem and confidence again and build that up. And I said I will never ever in my lifetime now, I'm not at a place where I'm saying thanks to this person, these people either. I'm not certainly there yet. I don't know I will be. I don't know I need to be. Like, who cares? It's my story, and I don't know that I'm going to be in that place to do that. But that person crushed any self-belief I had and self-identity at that time. I went into drinking. I was drinking every night. I think just it wasn't a problem. I was just not noticing it. I come home and drink easily, like a bottle of wine, a couple of gins, and then cycle the next day. And I went into severe depression. And I hate saying that sometimes and I used to think it was banded about, and that sort of got me into all of the work as a volunteer of Shout in 2018. And I wanted to have more empathy for suicide and mental health and understanding mental well-being, everything around that. I just wanted to understand more about and educate myself on it. And I still think we've got to always educate ourselves on it. So, like soon I'm doing a mental health first aid course because I want to challenge my beliefs on some things, and I want to be the best I can be in helping others with that, and not being, that's why I led that in those areas. I remember in one meeting once I said to all of my peers, I said, out of 10, what's your confidence around having a conversation with somebody who is looking to take their life? And it was like 6 out of 10. And I was like, that's not good enough. I said, we've got to be more than that. We've got to be not walking away from things and getting in those conversations and creating the right cultures and supporting and helping people on a different level almost, or in a different way than we ever have before. We've got to change that, and we've got to be different. And this is how we do it. And I'm here, and I'd love to help you, and I can help you on this because it's my thing. And I think it's just showed that I was signed off and admitted to hospital straight away. And look, that's kind of history. But I've had to rebuild that. And what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And the irony is, I'm not monkeying around anymore. The story isn't perfect, but I'll get closer to it by sharing it with you. I'll get closer to it by sculpting it more and sharing it with other people. But I have the power and a character to make this work, to make my coaching business that I do now, where I specifically work with career and confidence coaches, but I do work with others as well. If we can build up a relationship, and I want to help people build their businesses, and people where I was. I'm invested in working with some amazing mentors and coaches in my life. Lisa Johnson is one of them. She's an amazing mentor for me, and she says success is non-negotiable. It was for her, and that's how I'm seeing this. I'm not monkeying around on this. There is no jungle gym here. I am on a linear career ladder with this. That's not existing for me. I don't want that. Career progression often depends on us taking risks and advocating for oneself, and something that people are discouraged from, but you get one shot at this, right? So leaning into me means being ambitious for any pursuit. I know what I'm great at. I know I'm bold and confident and credible. I'm tenacious and fearless is my big thing this year, is to ask for more. Last year I was all about slowing down, speed up. I'm still working on that stuff, but I'm definitely about ask. Like, what am I going to get told? No. And then what? Move on. I'm going to learn from it. I know I'm a good person. I know there's amazing people out there, and there's people that want to help me, and I love that. And I love being around like-minded people. It's a completely different world to be in. The adrenaline's different. The buzz is different. I'm working bloody hard, but I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for somebody else's pocket. I'm doing it for me. I love money, but I love what money brings, which is the idea of more freedom, more experiences, and ultimately more to give back to others. I'm huge on giving back. Tony Robbins says the secret to living is giving. And it's absolutely true. There's an amazing book by Bob Berg. I'm actually part of Bob Berg's community in America. So I sat on a call with him, a coffee call the other day, and I chatted to him. It's amazing. And it's called The Go-Giver. It's a phenomenal book. So that's the thing. I'm in some amazing communities at the minute of like-minded people, because they're big investments, but I'm loving them and I'm learning loads, and it's great to be around people that are driven. Coaching is my purpose. It's not a passion. My passion is stuff like musical theatre, travelling, nice food experiences, seeing my friends, family. Passions are different from, they're things I look at them like they're things I like and love to do. Going for walks. I don't know, probably linked with my values too, for sure. I'm very, very values driven as a person. But the purpose for me is what brings meaning to life, and that is coaching. It's found me as well. And people say, like that terms, I wish I started this when I was younger and things. And I used to say that, but actually I wouldn't be where I am here in coaching with an award I won with Coaching Academy back in 2019 for my focus on CPD, which is continual professional development. And I wouldn't have, I'm now a mentor for the Coaching Academy. I'm looking at different opportunities with working in schools, with helping younger generations in like life skills and bringing in coaching and development. It's a phenomenal opportunity that's come through a connection. And that's what I love, is just connecting with people, because these opportunities wouldn't come my way otherwise, or our way, if we don't network people and build great relationships. Business is about great relationships. I'm really big on that. So this is what I live and breathe for my clients. This is what gets me out of bed every morning. This is the stuff that makes my heart sink. And it's the first time I've been properly able to share this. It's, as I shared, it's not about the company. It's not really about those directors. It's tough, and that's life. And I have to be resilient with that, and that's important too. That you bounce back from things. But I also don't care for that, to be that person that ever throws anybody under the bus or judges. It's just not in me to be that way. And I hope anyone would pull me in on it if I was. I care for bringing change to younger generations. I care for making a difference, for seeing that, I'm working with Diana Ward at the moment as a mentor, and I've been in schools since last few months, helping every week and share about helping children who are more disengaged in education and that maybe without these support systems and development programs, they wouldn't have the same opportunities to go into either further training, employment, and I think that they're amazing to work for, and the experiences I'm getting from this is phenomenal as a volunteer, but I'm loving it. I'm really big on giving back and volunteering too. I think it's really important that we embrace gratitude into our lives. But I want to also share with people that are younger females as well, that you can aspire to be successful. And if that's in the corporate ladder for you, go for it. I'm not saying don't. But not all women want children, not all women want a career, and not all women want both. Men are not even interested in high-powered jobs not because they don't lack ambition, because they lack ambition, but because they're just happy living their lives as they desire. So some of the most important contributions to the world are caring for one person at a time. And it's exactly the same with coaching. It is one powerful coaching conversation at a time. That's what I focus my clients on, is growing and nurturing loyal relationships, which will bring them long-term success. It's having an impact on other people and making a difference in the world. So we have to take our own steps and to find a path that's right for us. We have to be accountable. And like I had to get to a point where I made a decision that the pieces don't fit anymore. This wasn't right for me. It was then that I was able to create my own vision and values for my own business, which I've done. I bring a strategic experience and knowledge to my business. I'm always thinking to myself, like, what can be a competitive edge? What can I implement and change direction on? And fast and be agile, because this world changes so quickly now. But being ambitious wasn't for me something I saw as a compliment, and now it does, and I love that. And it will mean something different to everybody, of course. Everybody's idea of success will be different, but we can do this for ourselves, and we can do it for our future generations too. And there's always wins. I'm always challenging my clients. I'm laughing now because I've asked it quite a few times this week. I'm like, what are your wins? And people automatically go into like, oh, this was a challenge. I'm like, no, your wins. The wins of this experience to me were that I met some amazing people, and some of them are still my nearest and dearest now. And it gave me an opportunity to see some amazing places, to have some amazing experiences. I don't regret it. It's what got me here. And who knows what tomorrow will bring, but I don't want to be fearful. Like I said, I want to be fearless. And it's exciting, it's liberating, and it can be a bit stressful, of course, but stress can be your friend too, right? So don't hold back, lean in on your passions and then your purpose too, but don't overthink it. I always say date stuff, like date your niche, if clients coming at me, or just date it and see how it is. Don't add that pressure to it. Nothing's set in stone. You can change it. You can change the direction. You can change whatever. As I say, let's go. Boom. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and it inspired you on your journey. Make sure you share this with friends and subscribe to the podcast. I love hearing your feedback, so leave a review and let me know what part of the episode resonated with you most. And for now, it's time to go and take action, make a difference, and have a great day.